As trauma bonded, navigating attachments forged in complex PTSD gets closer to coming out, I have a lot of people reaching out to me to ask what the book is about. And I'm really excited to share some sneak peeks with my audience. So you are hearing this before the book is available for sale if you're listening before September of 2023. Some of the things that a lot of people have asked me is, why are you sharing the trauma of your childhood? Why would you do this? And one of my favorite memes that I've ever seen on Facebook is, I'm healing out loud so that those who cannot know they are not alone. Something that's really interesting to me is that as I've told my story, I've had, maybe 15 to 20 people reach out to me and let me know that they too have been victims of the abuse at the hands of my father. I felt that with the recent uninviting to my sister's wedding, that I wanted to kind of give the conclusion of my book. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but I wanted to be able to illustrate that I'm not as angry as a lot of people think I am, because I've gotten past that stage. Now, having said that, I've spent a lot of time really, really angry. And that's a normal part of healing, and I don't want to take that away from people, but it's not where I'm at anymore. And so one of the things that was really interesting is, I got uninvited for my sister's wedding a couple of weeks ago, and it took me about 24 hours, I'm going to say, to get through the initial burst of the grief process. And then it took me a couple of weeks before my opinions on where I'm at with that today really solidified. And I'm going to be talking about that in my podcasts coming up. So please head over to Raising Crazy, Growing Up to Show Up, or Unpacking Mormonism and Other Religious Trauma to hear a little bit more about that. But today I really wanted to give you a sneak peek as to where I actually am today in my emotional process of healing. And so this is the first time I've done this publicly. I'm going to be actually reading you a couple of paragraphs from my book. This is coming from the epilogue. It's also going to be great practice for my upcoming recording of the audiobook that is going along with my book that is scheduled to be released on September 6th, 2023. Here goes. It's easy to feel disgusted by my parents' actions. It's a response that I've had to work through many times. I do not condone abuse in any form, but I realize that they did the best they knew how to do with the skills they had. What hurts me the most is my father's repeated statements that if he had to do it all over again, he'd do it in the same way. He refuses to acknowledge the harm he caused me. His actions separated me from my peer group, my religious group, my siblings, my mother, and until recently, from my authentic self. My mother has apologized many times for her inability to stand up for me and protect me from the abuse. It was not a skill she had when I needed it the most. Forgiveness for her lack of action came naturally after her genuine apology and years of therapy. I recommend reading Why Won't You Apologize by Harriet Lerner for more information on the healing power of an effective apology. It has changed the way I apologize and has helped me recognize more fully how impactful an apology can be to someone in pain. In 2018, I stood up to my father for the first time. Since then, our relationship has deteriorated, and the closeness my mother and I once shared is collateral damage. I miss our daily conversations and our friendship. The depth of our grief mirrors the depth of our love. It is hard to recognize that someone you care for deeply will be happier without you in their life. The physical pain of losing my mother in this way is indescribable. Unlike with death, there is no closure for losing a mother who is still alive. When I am with my father, I turn into a person I dislike very much. I revert to a younger, more reactive, and less rational Sarah. Bessel van der Kolk outlines that phenomenon in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma, another book I highly recommend. It is painful and often necessary to distance yourself from people who are toxic to you. Most people identify my father as a good man. Through his example, I learned how to work hard, how to love serving others, and how to use creativity to engage small children. I have learned to honor his goodness from afar, as both he and I become toxic when we are together. I really hope that this chunk of my epilogue helps my readers understand that I couldn't write the book until I was on the other side of the healing journey, and that I'm sharing my story with you now so that you too can learn how to heal after horrific trauma. I'm kind of trying to create my own niche in the book world, which is self-help through memoir. The book Trauma Bonded, Navigating Attachments Forged in Complex PTSD, will be available for purchase starting in July. I'm the author, Sarah Westbrook. Can't wait to read and talk about your journey of reading my book in the upcoming episodes that I will be creating.